Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
Don't drink the tap water. Welcome, fellow conscious beings. Tonight, we have a very special subject. Did you know that you created this world from the moment you entered into it? And you have been creating this world ever since. But you forgot. And now you're looking for the key. I have it, and so do you. Let's shed some light of awareness on what I'm even talking about. So, we all experience this 3D reality. I have a lighter here. This lighter was created by consciousness, by someone's imagination, by man, by mind. I have a candlestick, a beautiful candle holder. It was here maybe before I was even conceived into this reality. But this 3D physical object was conceived in someone's mind before it ever made its way into this objective 3D reality. What I'm trying to get at here is you have an unspoken power and ability to control and manipulate this reality that you live in, that I live in, that we live in. It's a collective experience you see, but each individual is living out his or her own reality. And within each of those realities, we can expand our consciousness to overlap the realities of other individuals. In fact, there's a great war going on, a spiritual war, you could say, a war of imagination. Who has the strongest imagination and who has the most faith to conceive their imaginative ideas into this 3D reality? Let that sit in. What does that mean? It means that we live in a world of effect, a shadow realm, this 3D reality is, and all that comes into this reality, this world and reality of effects, has a first cause realm that is not to be seen with these human eyes, but when we close our eyes and we imagine deeply, you realize you can imagine and create anything unconditionally. You can imagine anything. That is the cause. That is the realm of cause. Causation is the realm of imagination, the realm of the unseen by these eyes. But the inner eyes can perceive more than these eyes can perceive. Now, we are conscious, but many of us are asleep. Even in this walking, moving, physical reality that we all experience, we're asleep. But we're not openly asleep. We're inwardly sleeping to our power and potential. And when we learn to open these inner eyes and awaken our very own imagination, something very funny, maybe even sinister for some, begins to happen. You start to become aware on the smallest scale that every outward experience that you are having originated in this realm within us, our imagination. So the key here is to understand and become aware of this dynamic. First, imagination. We have free will to be able to dictate what we want to imagine and experience and attach emotional connection and meaning to. When we embody this imagined state and we take our faith and energy, mental faith and focus away from the world of effects, the world of the flesh, and we redesignate that energy within where it belongs, where we were meant to have it originally placed, we regain our power to be able to consciously co-create this beautiful reality. Creative freedom has now been unlocked. You're welcome. Now, anyone can do this, okay? We need to awaken our imagination slowly. Start small, okay? I want you to think of an apple. Tonight, when you go to sleep, and I want you to hold this apple, feel this apple. What color is it? Red or green? The more specific you can get, the better. For remember, your imagination will unconditionally produce reality. So be careful what you imagine. Now, the bridge from imagination to reality is conviction and faith. We need to emotionally impregnate our inner world with this vision by feeling the apple, smelling the apple. Maybe it's already cut, has a nice sweet aroma. Tasting the apple, feeling the crunch in our mouth. This is all in mind. Close the eyes tonight and practice this. And do it every night. Something very funny will happen. What is that? You'll find yourself quickly holding an apple of the color that you imagined, biting into it, smelling it. Maybe it's smelt. However you reenacted that visual drama in your imagination is how it will come to pass. And I have experienced this many times for myself, and I have taught others how to experience this for themselves as well. Let me give you a beautiful example of how I helped my baby sister of 11 years of age, okay, use this technique. If an 11-year-old little girl can use this technique, I'm sure you can too. But remember, children have naturally awakened imaginations, and as we get older, we are told that our imaginations are meaningless and fake and false. That's imaginary. This and that and whatever. We need to completely dismiss these ideas and throw them out the back window, for they weaken our potential, and in fact they close our gate to the imaginary world, and our lives shall be experienced on a random timeline, for we are no longer consciously co-creating our reality. We are living out the reality and under the imagination of others. Like I had said, whose imagination are you living out? If you don't know, I promise it's not yours. And if it is, it's not the way you want it to be because it's not consciously being formed and created. Now let's go back to the sister story. Fiji, don't drink tap water. Fiji. It'll help you imagine better, I promise. Now, my sister lost her kitty cat, and her kitty cat was gone for months or a month. Ran into the woods. Okay, this is northern Michigan in the Upper Peninsula. Wilderness everywhere, wild everywhere. And her cat ran off. And in consciousness and imagination, she accepted and imagined unconsciously that her cat was gone. Therefore, the spot that her cat once held in a mind, in imagination, had vanished, only locking her into a perpetual cycle of not having a cat. For this is what happens when we walk by eyes, right? By sight and not by faith of imagination. We see things, we want to change things, but because we're not physically, visually seeing change, we can't understand it, and we can't create change because change comes from within first in the world of causation. But if you judge by the world of effect, you're judging an effect. How can you change an effect with an effect? If you want to change an effect, you must change the cause. So here's what we did. Now, Neville Goddard, great mind, brilliant thinker, and a divine man, once enlightened me to some information about a practice. We want to close our eyes and get into a state akin to sleep. Okay. Now, to induce this state, I personally am able to induce this state within minutes of closing my eyes. I can also induce this state with my eyes open. As you begin your co-creation journey and you become the magician that you were born to become, you won't tap into these abilities yourself, and you'll be able to actively manifest at any given time. But for the beginner, we want to lay down and get comfortable. Oh, so comfortable. Breathe slowly in through the nose, out through the mouth. I like to look up to the third eye, and I count down from 50 to 1. I watch the numbers visually in my imagination. 50, 49, 48, and we slowly go down and down and down. And the goal, you may not hit 1 before you get into the state akin to sleep. This state you will know you're in when you feel your body no more, but your mind is wide open. It's almost like an out-of-body experience without being aware of your body at all. For your body will fall asleep, but the mind shall stay awake. In this state, you're able to detach fully from the senses, and it's almost like you're floating in the void, fully present, immersed. And this is where the fun begins. This is pure creative potential, your canvas. Now, what we're gonna do here is, while we're in this state, we're gonna paint the picture from first person of the act that would signify your wish fulfilled. Okay, meaning you want to not imagine the act getting fulfilled before fulfillment, but what would happen if your desired reality was already true. And for my sister's case, she would have her cat in her lap, purring as she slowly is stroking and petting her cat's back, feeling the warm fur, hearing the purr, feeling the vibration of the purr, and embracing and taking in all the lovely emotions that would come with that type of experience, for she missed her cat dearly. And I put her into this state akin to sleep. I guided her through a verbal meditation, and she couldn't stop smiling. We did this for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and I had her open her eyes, and we let it go. The next day, I came downstairs, and it was very quiet in the house. No one was in the house. That's weird. I have a lot of sisters, and they were no longer in the house. I was confused. I heard voices up front. I go up to the front, and I see them all huddled around something. I walk up. Lo and behold, her beautiful little kitty cat. The story is, it ran. She was playing outside, and it just ran up to her from across the street. This is after the cat being gone for a month, maybe 2. But the moment she replaced its place as an inner reality with faith, it created a vacuum that needed to get filled with confirmation externally of your internal validation of your vision, your desired reality. Now, the secret is to not think about it constantly, for thought is only for one purpose, and that is to set the intention, to make the decision, and let it go, and know that it's done. That is the secret to holding faith in your mind. She got her cat back, and I've created many beautiful things in my life. In fact, I'm a walking manifestation. I live in my desired reality, and my desired reality is a continuous work in progress. It is my masterpiece, and as my consciousness expands, as your consciousness will, you will develop a beautiful masterpiece yourself, and this life continuously progresses. But the beautiful thing now is, instead of looking at the world of effect, where we do have no power to change the effect with effect, we learn how to harness and focus our inner senses to the world of causation, the imagination. And with that, we hold faith, and we can consciously co-create this reality to a T. Spicy. Opens the third eye. Do not drink tap water. My beloved conscious beings,